Hi Vivaan, this video is for the Happy Birthday to You song. I think you've done most of the things that you need to know to play the eighth notes, how to handle the eighth notes. You're familiar with the 3/4 time signature, and you have a hand crossover, which I believe you had in A Dozen a Day. And one thing that you haven't had much of is playing the three notes at the same time. It happens in the left hand once, the C, E, G, in the bass clef position, and the higher one is the F, A, C. You have those. And the accidental is a B flat. It's actually an F major song. They could have done the B flat to be a key signature, which means it's going to be an F major. But somehow in this book, they decided that they're just going to, add in as an accidental in the middle of the song. So I'm going to break this song up into several sections. The introduction is the first three measures, ending with a fermata, which means you hold that note long. You pause the beat there. And the main part of the song is where it says happily, and it ends when at the middle of the second page, which is page 19, with a double bar line. And then after the double bar line, you have a silly ending. And at that point, the time signature changes from 3/4 to 4/4. So you're going to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4 after at the silly ending when the main song ends. So I think so first, let's start with the introduction. So we'll play in order. The introduction is actually the five finger position. So right hand is that position, left hand is, that's where your hands are going to be. Right hand thumb at middle C, left hand pinky at the lowest C. And you will be doing that crossover. It goes. I'll play that again. Let's start with the left hand lowest note, C, E, G, C, E, G. And I wonder if you notice the long bracket-like line beneath the bass clef on, it starts on the left hand pinky C, and you see there's a line going all the way to measure 4, beginning of measure 4. That is your damper pedal. I believe your keyboard or the digital piano came with a pedal that you probably attached, or it's somewhere near your keyboard. That's where you will be using it. So you'll have to press down on that pedal and you play the whole thing. And that's your introduction, and then you go into the main song. Fermata, hand position change. And pedal again. And then silly ending. And then you end on an F. So that's the pedal that you will be adding in, which adds a lot of great effect. So, but I always say first, before you add the pedal, you have to know all of your notes and the rhythm has to be completely correct. You do everything that you can do in terms of playing correctly with your hands with enough expression. After that, you start adding the pedal. Okay? So so now you know the introduction. Introduction is very simple. It's just like a dozen a day exercise. Now the main part, the happily, and it starts on the upbeat, which is the beat 3. The downbeat in a 3/4 time signature where you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The 1 is a downbeat, which means it's a strong beat. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this one, the beginning of the song, is on the weak beat. It's a beat 3. So it leads into 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's your first phrase. Happy birthday to you. Next phrase. Between those two phrases, I guess you notice that it's exactly the same rhythm pattern. It's a 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then the next one is fairly simple, fairly similar too. But before we go to the next one, measure 4. You're still in that hand position. Now on the second phrase, where the end of measure 5 and into measure 6, your left hand has to move up. So after that, left hand has to shift up to that F, A, C, okay? And move the left hand. Okay, so we're at measure 7. Measure 7, left hand stays there, right hand has to move up to the F major hand, to that position. So left hand, I'm going to play beat 3 of measure 7 because that's the third phrase. There, the right hand is a little bit tricky because you start at C, A, F, and then you have to go over the thumb with a 2 on E, and then thumb on D. So, okay. When the right hand plays the E, left hand has to play a B flat. So be ready for that. And fermata. After that, right hand goes back to this position where the thumb is on F. Okay, I'll play that again. Right hand starts on B flat, left hand B flat, and then the left hand is okay, A, C, F. Okay, I'll play again from measure 7, beat 3, the phrase 3. Position change. Okay, and so that's the main song. I will now show you the silly ending. The silly ending is the part where, you know, like, this is not common. I guess this might be original for this particular version of this song. Or I'm not really sure if in some, you know, areas of the country they might do that. You know, are you 1? Are you 2? Are you 3? Are you 4? It's a repeating the C, C, F, C, C, F, C, C, F in the high hand position. You know, middle C. Now your thumb is at the high C. And you end on the number that you're at. But if you were doing this for, you know, somebody who's like 65 years old, I don't think you'd want to do that because you have to do that 65 times. It's only fun for kids, I guess. And you know, it says 4/4 time. It feels like dun 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 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Yes, I guess it does. But because it's such a repetitive pattern, you don't particularly need to think about the 4/4 time signature. They probably did it because it looks better on paper. So yeah, that's the whole song. And eventually when you start adding the pedal is all the way through the introduction into the happy birth. That's when the the pedal comes up, and then the pedal comes back in, you know, before you start the silly ending on the very last chord. And pedal here, and then pedal stays down. And that person would be, are you 1, are you 2, are you 3? That person would be a 4-year-old. Okay, so that's the whole happy birthday song. It doesn't make that much sense to practice one hand at a time because if you look at the left hand, there's not a whole lot going. But just so that you know where your hands are supposed to be, it might be helpful. Left hand, that's the first part. And then next one, back to the F position. And rest, rest, rest. And then B flat. And then it's a B flat again. So it's mostly your right hand. Yes. So yeah, try playing it. It's the fingering number that you see at measure, for instance, measure 7 on the left hand. They have a circle around the left hand finger 1, 3, 5. Every time they put a circle over a number, the fingering number, it means that that is a new hand position. It alerts you that okay, it's not going to be that fingering number. Like for instance, at measure 6, you end with a 4 on the F, and then the next one is a circle 5. You don't play 5. If you play a 5 without moving your hand position, your 5 is on the G, but the note that you see there is actually the high C, so your hand position has to move. That 5 is after you've moved into the next position. And then you look at measure 8. Measure 9. Measure 9, the right hand E has a finger 2 on it because, and then if your second finger is at that point on G, but you have to play an E instead, so you go over the thumb. And then from there, your finger 4 would be on 5, but the next note is a B flat. You have to put the 4 onto the B flat, you have to reach up there, and then new hand position. And from there, you see the silly ending has a circle 1, fingering number 1 with a circle on it. Because right now, your finger number 1 is on F, but you have to play the high C instead. So you move your hand position. Okay, so that's going to be the hardest thing, to make sure that you are moving your hand into the new position on time. Well, the on-time part you can do once you know the notes well. Right now, you just have to make sure you get the correct notes, and then the rhythm part and on-time thing can come later. Yeah, we'll see how it's going on Friday, so get to it. Bye!